These are the people who are messing up the world. They cannot be arrested, but they influence others to be arrested.
On March 17, 2023, the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for Russia's president, Vladimir Putin, for overseeing the abduction of Ukrainian children. This means all member countries of the International Criminal Court have the right to detain Putin if he arrives in their territory. South Africa is a member of the International Criminal Court and a member of BRICS. In fact, South Africa is set to host the next BRICS Bloc Summit from the 22nd to the 24th of August 2023. The summit brings together the presidents of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa leaders. This puts South Africa in a complicated situation. Going by the Rome Statute, South Africa has to detain Vladimir Putin upon his arrival in South Africa in August. South Africa's president, Cyril Ramaphosa, said on the 25th of April that the country's governing party, the African National Congress, had decided to leave the International Criminal Court, which last month issued an arrest warrant for Vladimir Putin. Cyril Ramaphosa said this during a news conference co-hosted with Finland's president, who is visiting the country. Ramaphosa said the decision, which follows a weekend meeting of the ANC, was reached largely because of what is perceived as the International Criminal Court's unfair treatment of certain countries. He went further to say that issue of unfairness at the ICC has to be properly discussed, and that Putin's arrest is under consideration. Ramaphosa, who last year blamed NATO for the war in Ukraine, said he had spoken to Putin several times about the need for negotiations. Few hours after Ramaphosa said all these, the office of the President of South Africa was quick to deny that the country was planning an exit from the ICC and that the president's statement was a communication error. But it is clear that the ANC executives are deliberating on the country's fate, as concerns being a signatory to the International Criminal Court. ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula earlier declared that Putin can come to South Africa anytime. In fact, Julius Malema, commander-in-chief of the Economic Freedom Fighters Party, has pledged to protect Putin if he lands in South Africa. The South African Communist Party, meanwhile, has characterized the ICC as a supranational institution at the service of imperialist states. Unsurprisingly, the SACP and EFF condemned the ICC for its failure to charge and arrest former US President George Bush and former British Prime Minister Tony Blair for orchestrating the long and brutal Iraq War on the pretext that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. These are complicated times for South Africa's governing party because the country has close ties with Moscow, which date back decades to when the Kremlin supported the ANC's fight against apartheid. A continental powerhouse, South Africa has refused to condemn the invasion of Ukraine that has largely isolated Moscow on the international stage, saying it wants to stay neutral and prefers dialogue to end the war. It is not the first time South Africa has attempted to withdraw from the ICC. It attempted to do so in 2016 following a dispute a year earlier when Sudan's then President Omar al-Bashir visited the country for an African Union summit. It refused to arrest him despite the al-Bashir facing an ICC arrest warrant for alleged war crimes. However, that decision to pull out was revoked when a domestic court ruled such a move would have been unconstitutional. So, as things stand, the ICC's 123 member states are obliged to detain and transfer Putin to the organization's headquarters in The Hague, Netherlands, should he land in their territory. As the second sitting head of state to be charged with war crimes, Putin's prosecution would be a significant achievement for international justice. The first was former Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir, who in March 2009 and July 2010 was charged with committing genocide, crimes against humanity, and war crimes during the 2003 to 2008 Darfur War. Nearly 8 years after he escaped arrest in Johannesburg, al-Bashir still has not stood trial for his alleged crimes in a Sudanese, African, or international court. What do you think will happen to Putin when he lands in South Africa? Do you think Putin will attend the BRICS summit? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to The New Tourist and turn on notifications so you get alerts when we upload new videos like this one.